G'day, I'll just have a look at the diver here first. So in general this one's pretty good. So you can see there, I think the major points of issue are that the bezel insert needs replacing, which they can be replaced, that's no real problem there. The case needs a bit of a clean up, which is no major drama. The dial looks okay, but what I'll do in a sec is I'll just drop it out and we'll just make sure there's no marks on the front of it. The hand there is actually missing on the back what they call the meatball. So the meatball is just a bit that sticks out there and has a little ball on the end of it, which is where the loom is. So yeah, no idea why it's missing on there, but we should be able to get one of those hands. In fact, I think I've got one spare here somewhere. The hands themselves are a little bit rough, but I think they're okay. I might be able to get rid of that mark just off the back of that there. And if I could do that, I think this would look pretty good. So if I just pop the back off it, which we've already loosened this previously, just to make the video a bit easier. So if we have a look there, we can see that's pretty good. Pretty much all that really needs rebuilding on these is the gear train there. So you'll see the jewels there. The oil in there does dry up and needs to be replaced, so that'll need to be dropped off, and all the little tiny gears, you can see the corner of one there, will just need to be cleaned and re-oiled. Just looking at the coil there, the coil is the part of the movement that drives the motor. So when you put a voltage on it from the battery, which normally sits there, basically there's a little IC there, and the IC regulates the amount of pulses that go through the coil, which generates a magnetic field, which drives a tiny little motor which probably sits there or somewhere in there. And what happens, that starts up a magnet there basically, which flicks a little wheel around like that, which ticks it 1 time per second. So this has previously had a repair on it. What often happens is when they're changing the battery, they come in with the screwdrivers here. They haven't sharpened their screwdrivers, the screwdriver will slip and it'll go bang straight across the coil, which is fairly common. I do have a spare coil here for these if it is dead, but that repair looks okay, so it's probably going to be alright. Now what I'll do is I'll just drop the actual movement out itself. So just take the crown off there. Now I've just got to get my tweezers. So that's the stem release button there, so you press that down, the stem comes out. The stem's in good condition, you can see there. These are readily available anyway, but you can just see the way that works there. I'm just going to do this off camera because it's a bit tricky to do on camera. Okay, there we go. So having a close look at the dial here, I'll just get my toothpick. There's some marks just there which are unfortunate, but I don't think they're a killer. So what's happened there is someone's removed these hands before and they've probably used the wrong, I'll just put this so you can get better focus on it. They probably used the wrong tool on it, slipped and then dented and damaged the dial, which is probably what's caused the rest of the damage to the hands there. But I think we could probably clean that up to the point where I think it'll not be heaps noticeable. But yeah, that's a bit unfortunate. But beyond that, the dial's actually pretty good. So normally these have a lot of water ingress and the dials are completely stuffed, but this one's not too bad apart from that damage there. So I'll just put this guy aside. With these cases as well, I should have a crystal here for these. I do carry a lot of them because I do go through a few, so I should have one here that suits that. Now just having a look at the chronograph here. So the crystal on that one, let me just have a look off camera. Yeah, that one's pretty good. So I can either get that refurbished, which I get a guy to grind the surface and then repolish it. I should be able to get that done, which is a little bit lower cost than replacing it, because the thing with these is they got chips on the side. I can get them replaced, but if they haven't, they can be reground and get a fairly good result. The hand there is actually bent. That should be fixable, so I'm not too bothered about that. Beyond that, it's pretty good, and we'll be able to get a good repair on that. There's a little bit of paint missing off the hands there, which I can patch up. I've got the right shade for that. And those hands will also need to be re-loomed, so you can see there the loom's gone quite dark. That just needs basically carving out and replacing, and it will actually look really good once it's replaced, so I think that'll work out fairly well. The case on this one, generally I don't touch them. Reason being is as soon as you start doing anything to them, they look quite bad. So I'm just going to pop the back off, which I'm also going to do off camera because it's very difficult to do in the small amount of space that I've got in the camera. So having a look there, that looks pretty good. That's really clean, or relatively clean. Most of them, you know, they come in, they've got an inch of rust on them. It's running there, which is a sign that the movement's in fairly good condition. So that's a good sign. So you can see there the oscillating weight, that's fairly free moving. Sometimes a little ball bearing that's under there seizes up, or is missing a ball or something like that, but this is all in good condition. So yeah, that looks like we'll get a pretty good result off of that, I think. So yeah, we'll just flip that over a bit more. That's the balance there. So the balance basically regulates how much power is put out to the rest of the movement. It's driven by the barrel, which is under there, which is basically a compressed spring. What I often do with these, and I'll probably have to do it on this one, is we replace the there's a bushing at the top of the barrel there, which generally tends to get a lot of wear in them. So what we do is we replace that with a jewel. So I'd recommend getting that done, because with the value of the watches these days, it's pretty much worth doing. So yeah, but yeah, that's looking pretty good. Anyway, I'll get back to you and go from there.